Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Meade with Domicile Real Estate. I am out here in Fullerton, California. It's an early Sunday morning, and I'm filming a video in one of the Fullerton Forever homes. And this one is actually a considerably rare house. So most of the time when people feature homes in the Fullerton Forever homes, they're talking about the second phase. This is an early phase. It was actually built in 1953, still designed by Jones and Emmons. And typically when you find these homes, they're not renovated. Not only is this one a renovated home, but it's really an excellent renovation. This is the type of renovation that these homes deserve. Anyhow, I am super excited to show you this Fullerton home. And while I wouldn't call it affordable, it is definitely something that is attainable. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, I just love the front facade of this house, and there's actually a lot to talk about with this one. You know, these kind of homes, I think, are difficult to remodel because they don't follow the traditional rules. And there's some things that are unique about this first phase of the Fullerton Forever homes. Probably the first thing you're going to notice, we're going to just kind of zoom in here, is that this home is actually made of concrete masonry blocks. And by the way, you'll notice there's fun, cool little details just like this with the 3 blocks or 4 blocks that are sticking out. This home has some pretty significant additions. It's got a single car garage and a carport. We're going to actually walk into one of those additions, and already you can see some of the care that was taken in designing this home. And I don't just mean the original design, I'm also talking about the renovation. So the space we're standing in is actually an addition. The original square footage of this home was just under 1,200 square feet. So this home comes in just under 1,900 square feet. So they've actually added about 700 square feet. And we're going to talk in a little bit, I'll do a sidebar and tell you what's the difference between an addition that adds value and one that does not. By the way, I do want to talk about this entry, because when they've added the space, what they've done, I'm going to step back here so you can get a great look at it, is they've created this kind of glass wall here. And this actually mirrors an element that's in the second phase of the Fullerton Forever home. So if you are in some of those other homes, you'll notice a lot of them have a very similar entry to this. So they've created a connection with the section of the neighborhood that was built 2 years later. Really a clever design. So this living room space here was an addition. And you actually entered the home on the side right here where we are walking through. And so now we're stepping into the original part of the home. We'll take a look outside in a little bit. And I want to go over some of the details. Again, you've got this motif with the concrete block actually used as a unique tool. By the way, this wasn't that unusual. There were some other architects who did this too. Edward Fickett and his neighbor in San Pedro. We've got clear story windows, and this masonry block gives kind of a unique texture to the walls. Now, something that they added that I am very impressed with on this house is this paneling detail that you see here. And it extends kind of through this dining room space into the kitchen and then on this living room wall as well. And I think they've done it in a very clever way. I don't think this is a fad. It's not going to look trendy. And I'm going to zoom in here because they've added these fun little details as how they've fastened it, right? So this appears to be like a birch plywood that's been stained more of a walnut color. They've added these little metal accents to hide the fasteners on the wall. So I want to come into the kitchen because I think the kitchen is really a tough spot if you're remodeling a mid-century modern home, because you want something that's functional, but you don't want it to look trendy. And so at first glance, this is not a huge kitchen, but it's actually a lot bigger than you think. So we've got really nice cabinetry here. I love the detailing on the backsplash. This gives you a bit of texture, and I don't know if this shows up in the video, but these actually have almost kind of like a little bit of a hip roof design to them. So they're a 3-dimensional tile, super cool. We've got an additional pantry storage over here. And then we have this kind of little breakfast bar area. There's no artwork up here. I think I would add some artwork to this space. I want to take you through another area of addition in this home. So the space you see over here, that was an addition. And then we've got a space over here, which is the addition of 2 bedrooms. So we've got a laundry space to your side. We've got this bedroom. And you know, one of the things I kind of love in here, and I don't want to spoil it, I'm going to do a little sidebar for you, is that we've got super tall ceilings in these secondary bedrooms, right? And I think That's one of the hallmarks of an architectural home, is that the rooms don't just feel like rooms. Now I'm going to take you into this room, which is probably one of my favorite rooms in the home, and look at what they've done in here. So they've created this huge wall of glass. Again, it's a repeating motif with what we saw on the front door. We've got kind of a cool patio space right outside of here. We'll check that out in a minute. We've got a closet, and again, we've got a taller vaulted ceiling in this room. So one of the things I'm going to do here real quick is I want to talk to you about what makes the difference between an addition that adds value and one that takes value away. All right, so if you are looking at a mid-century modern home, you'll notice that sometimes additions add to the value of the home, and sometimes those additions actually take away from the value of the home. And if you're a buyer, it's really important to understand what kind of addition it is you're looking at in a home. So there's really two things that you're looking for in an addition of a mid-century modern home. One is aesthetic cohesion. Does this feel like a logical addition to the home aesthetically? Did they copy some of the same design motifs? Is the roof line similar? Does it feel like a natural progression of the house? Now, no, it doesn't have to feel exactly the same as the original home. What you're looking for is something that complements the original design, picks up a couple motifs, but can still be its own space. The second thing you're looking for is usability, right? I think sometimes square footage looks great on paper. The reality is it's not usable square footage. And if it's not square footage that can be used for anything, it's not really useful as an addition. So those are the two things you're looking for when you're looking at mid-century modern homes that have additions, of whether that addition is worth any money or not. Anyhow, let's continue. All right, so we've kind of showed you the addition spaces. Now I want to take you through the rest of the original home. And we're going to walk through this living room here. And again, we've got clear story windows up above. We've got a sloped ceiling. And one of the things that this home, having almost 1,900 square feet, is it's allowed for some luxuries that you really typically do not find. So we're going to stop in. We've got a secondary bath in here. And I think there's something I want to talk about bathrooms. And this is really important. And if you are a renovator and you're watching this, please pay attention to this. By the way, super cool detail with this plywood paneling on the wall. The colors actually complement this wood look tile that we see. One of the things I love about this bathroom is that these are not typical choices, right? I think a lot of times when you look at a renovation, by the way, huge tall ceilings in here. One of the things when you're looking at a renovation is that they will typically take just the lowest common denominator materials and choices. They want to appeal to everyone. And I think that's a huge mistake in an architectural home. And so what they've done here is they've actually picked materials and choices that mean something. They may not be your favorite, but I think that's actually going to help this bathroom age well, because it doesn't look like this was a 2026 bathroom. So we've got my other favorite room in this home, and that's this front bedroom space here. And you'll notice we've got some depressions in the wall. Those are those 4 blocks that stuck out on the front facade. We've got clear story windows on 2 sides. We've got a window to the front, and we've got these beautiful concrete masonry unit walls. And for me, I would love to make this space a home office. I think this would be an absolutely incredible home office space to spend time in. And again, that's a hallmark of an architectural home, right? Is that you're in here, and each of these rooms has its own sense of identity. We've got a linen closet, and then we're going to enter into the primary suite. So we're looking around the primary suite again. Beautiful CMU walls. We've got clear story windows. We've got a side window here that faces the front. And really, this is a huge room. And I'm going to talk about why this is a huge room. So originally, this home was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. And what they did is there were 3 bedrooms on this side. They actually took it from 3 bedrooms in this wing down to 2 bedrooms on this side with 2 on the other side. And that let them make a true primary suite. So you'll notice we've got a closet here on the left, right? This is a pretty small closet. So, typically if you're a guy, this would be your closet. And then we've got a walk-in closet. And I can't tell you what a absolute privilege it is to have a walk-in closet in a 1953 home. It's spectacular. And then we've got this bathroom, which again is kind of a bold choice. They've done this beautiful aggregate type terrazzo tile, and they run it most of the way up the wall, right? And so you've got this kind of like a little bit chest level tile. We've got a really cool tub here, nice toilet, dual vanity, and then I'm going to shut the door because we've got a pretty awesome shower. And again, we've got these super tall ceilings in this house. Like for 1953, to have the height in these extra spaces is super cool, and I really like it a lot. So I'm going to take you back out, and we're going to kind of tour some of the outside. And something I want to talk about with this neighborhood in particular, the Fullerton Forever Homes, is that there's really been a lot of ground we're heading back into the living room and dining room here. There's really been kind of a groundswell of people sort of discovering this neighborhood, and I think it's on the up. So if I were looking for a place to go, especially if I wanted a bigger home that's still, most homes in the 50s were not 1,900 square feet. So we've got this yard space out here that's very useful. And then we've got this backyard space with kind of a secondary patio. That's off of that bedroom that we were looking at earlier that was added onto the rear of the home. So, and then I'll walk over here too. We've got a pretty big side yard over here. And one of the cool things about a yard like this, you've got this little extra space here. I would do kind of maybe like an herb garden, something fun like that. One of the things that you get in a home and a design like this is that you've actually got the ability to create outdoor zones. And the traditional design of a backyard was just like a huge backyard space, and who knows whether it's going to be useful for anything. But this lets you create a dining and entertaining zone. It lets you create a chill zone over there, and you've got grass space as well. So if you have a dog, that's something that you can do also. So, and by the way, look at this detailing on like the roof line, the way this comes in. This again is what I was talking about with an addition that actually works. You've got a lot of glass in this space. The roof line and the fascia board are very complementary to the original home. And I think that makes a huge difference. So let's head inside, and we're going to talk about kind of some of our final thoughts on this home. And who is this home for? Who is it not for? So let me go ahead and see if this works as a nice background. All right, we've taken a walk through this home. And by the way, Jones & Emmons, absolute mid-century modern masters. What makes a home like this special is when you start looking at these details. But I think the most remarkable thing about this house, absolutely, is the quality of the renovation. These homes are often forgotten. They tend to get inexperienced flippers, right? Because these tend to start at the lower end of the market. So you get inexperienced flippers. They don't know how to remodel a home like this. And I'm so glad to see that somebody really took the time, the energy, and put in the effort to create a great finished product. And speaking of, I want to thank Martin Fish of City Vest. This one isn't our listing, but he's given us permission to come in here, view it, film a video, and sort of give you our take. When you look at a home like this, it kind of fills this Goldilocks spot. You've got Eichlers, which are now in the high 1 millions, right? And around the same size of this home, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, very similar. You've got the same architect who designed half the Eichler homes. And so, but this home is priced at $1.2 million, or just under $1.2 million. And I think that really creates a much more accessible space. This is an in-between house, bigger than the other 1950s homes, cheaper than Eichler's. Anyhow, thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to see this home, you'd like to talk about our take, kind of our private thoughts on it, absolutely reach out to us. Contact information is in the description below. We'll see you again real soon.